The emergency room doors burst open as Sarah Mitchell rushed through, her 5-year-old daughter Emma limp in her arms. Blood seeped through the makeshift bandage wrapped around the child's head, a stark reminder of the playground accident that had turned their perfect Saturday afternoon into a nightmare. Sarah's perfectly styled blonde hair was disheveled, her designer outfit stained with dirt and tears. But none of that mattered now. Only Emma mattered. "Please, someone help us." Sarah's voice cracked as she approached the triage desk, her blue eyes wide with terror. The fluorescent lights of Chicago General Hospital seemed too bright, too harsh, casting everything in an unforgiving glare that made the gravity of the situation even more real. Sarah Mitchell had built her life on careful planning and meticulous control. At 31, she was a successful marketing executive at a prestigious firm downtown, living in Lincoln Park with her daughter in a world where appearances mattered and social circles were carefully curated. Her divorce from Emma's father 2 years ago had only reinforced her need for structure, for predictability. She had her preferences, her standards, her unspoken rules about the kind of life she wanted to build for herself and her daughter. Those rules had been shaped by her upbringing in suburban Oak Brook, where diversity was more theoretical than practical, where her parents' subtle comments and not so subtle preferences had formed the foundation of her worldview. She wasn't hateful, she told herself. She was just selective. She had her type, her comfort zone, and she saw no reason to venture beyond it. Just 3 months earlier, at her friend Jessica's birthday party, when someone had suggested she meet their colleague Marcus, a successful attorney, Sarah had laughed it off with her usual response. "Thanks, but you know me. I just don't date black men." "It's not personal, it's just not my thing," she had said casually, as if discussing her preference for Italian food over Mexican. The comment had been met with uncomfortable silence from some, nodding nods from others, and life had moved on as it always did, in their carefully segregated social circles. But as she stood in that emergency room, none of those carefully constructed boundaries mattered. Her daughter was hurt, possibly seriously, and Sarah would have accepted help from anyone, absolutely anyone who could make Emma better. The triage nurse, a middle-aged Latina woman with kind eyes, immediately took charge. "What happened, honey?" "She fell from the monkey bars at the playground," Sarah explained, her voice steadying slightly as she focused on the facts. "She hit her head on the concrete. She was unconscious for maybe 30 seconds, and there's been so much blood." "Okay, we're going to take good care of her," the nurse assured her, already signaling for a wheelchair. "Dr. Williams is our best pediatric trauma surgeon, and he's on duty today. Your little girl is in excellent hands." As they wheeled Emma toward the treatment area, Sarah caught her first glimpse of Dr. Marcus Williams through the glass doors of Trauma Bay 3. He was tall and commanding, his dark skin contrasting with his pristine white coat, his hands already moving with practiced precision as he reviewed Emma's chart. His presence filled the room with an authority that was both calming and impressive. "Dr. Williams, this is Emma Mitchell, 5 years old, head trauma from playground fall," the nurse reported briskly. "Thank you, Carmen. Let's get her on the table," Dr. Williams responded, his voice deep and reassuring, as he approached Emma. "And you must be Mom. I'm Dr. Williams, and I'm going to take excellent care of your daughter." Sarah found herself momentarily speechless, not because of Emma's condition, though that terror still gripped her, but because of the gentle confidence in Dr. Williams' voice, the way he immediately made her feel that everything was going to be okay. "Is she going to be all right?" Sarah asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "I'm going to examine her thoroughly and find out exactly what we're dealing with," Dr. Williams replied, already shining a penlight into Emma's eyes. "Can you tell me exactly what happened?" The trauma bay hummed with quiet efficiency around them, monitors beeping steadily, the scent of antiseptic sharp in the air. Sarah watched as Dr. Williams worked, his large hands surprisingly gentle as he examined her daughter's head wound, his voice soft and soothing as he spoke to Emma, who was beginning to stir. 2 hours later, Sarah sat in the family waiting area, her hands wrapped around a cup of coffee that had long since gone cold. Dr. Williams had taken Emma into surgery to repair a small skull fracture and address internal bleeding, assuring Sarah that while serious, it was completely treatable. The surgery would take approximately 3 hours. Sarah's parents, Robert and Linda Mitchell, had driven in from Oak Brook the moment she called them. Her mother's perfectly coiffed silver hair and pearl necklace seemed out of place in the hospital's sterile environment, while her father's expensive suit and nervous pacing drew curious glances from other waiting families. "I still can't believe this happened," Linda Mitchell said, settling into the chair beside her. "That playground equipment should be better maintained. We should look into legal action." "Mom, I just want Emma to be okay," Sarah replied wearily. "Of course, darling, but these things don't just happen. There's usually negligence involved." Linda lowered her voice. "And I have to ask, are you sure about this surgeon? Dr. Williams. I looked him up online, and while his credentials seem adequate, wouldn't you feel more comfortable with Dr. Patterson? He's the department head, and the Hendersons used him when little Tyler had his accident." Sarah felt a familiar knot form in her stomach. Dr. Williams is the pediatric trauma specialist who was on call. He's the one who saw Emma first. "I understand that, sweetheart, but we're talking about your daughter's brain," Robert Mitchell interjected, his voice carrying the authority he'd perfected during his 40 years as an investment banker. "This isn't the time to worry about political correctness. This is about getting the best possible care." "What are you implying, Dad?" Sarah asked, though she already knew the answer. "I'm not implying anything. I'm stating facts. Dr. Patterson graduated from Harvard Medical School. He's been featured in Chicago Magazine's top doctors list for 5 consecutive years. His family have been members of our country club for decades. We know his background, his training, his reputation." Linda placed a hand on Sarah's arm. "Darling, we know we're not prejudiced to people, but when it comes to Emma's life, don't you think we should go with what we know? What we're comfortable with?" Sarah stared at her parents, hearing echoes of conversations that had shaped her entire worldview. The subtle suggestions about which neighborhoods were safe, which schools were good, which people were our kind. She had absorbed it all without question, letting it guide her choices in everything from where she lived to whom she dated. "Dr. Williams is already operating on Emma," Sarah said quietly. "The decision has been made." "It doesn't have to stay made," Robert pressed. "We can request Dr. Patterson take over. I can make some calls." "No." The word came out sharper than Sarah intended. "Emma is in surgery with Dr. Williams, and that's where she's staying." Her parents exchanged a look that spoke volumes about their disapproval. But before they could respond further, Dr. Williams emerged from the surgical wing. His scrubs were fresh, his expression calm but serious as he approached their small group. "Mrs. Mitchell, the surgery went very well. Emma's stable, and we were able to repair the fracture completely. There was some minor bleeding that we addressed, but her brain function appears normal and her vital signs are strong." Relief flooded through Sarah so powerfully that she nearly collapsed. "Can I see her?" "She's in recovery now, still under anesthesia. In about an hour, you'll be able to sit with her. She should wake up within the next few hours. And if everything continues to progress as expected, she'll be home in 2 to 3 days." "Thank you," Sarah whispered, tears streaming down her face. "Thank you so much." Dr. Williams smiled, the expression transforming his entire face and revealing a warmth that went beyond professional courtesy. "You're very welcome. Emma's a fighter, and she's going to be just fine." Robert Mitchell cleared his throat deliberately. "Doctor, I'm Robert Mitchell, Emma's grandfather. I wanted to discuss Emma's ongoing care with Dr. Patterson, the department head. Would it be possible to arrange a consultation?" Dr. Williams' expression didn't change, but Sarah caught something subtle shift in his eyes. A flicker of recognition, perhaps resignation, at a conversation he'd clearly had before. Of course, Mr. Mitchell. Dr. Patterson can certainly review Emma's case if you'd like a second opinion, though I should mention that he's currently in surgery himself and won't be available until tomorrow morning. That's fine. We prefer to be thorough when it comes to family, Robert replied, his tone carrying an unmistakable message. The waiting area fell silent except for the distant sound of medical equipment and muffled conversations from other families. Sarah watched Dr. Williams' face, seeing no anger there, only a professional composure that somehow made her feel ashamed of her father's behavior. I'll make sure Dr. Patterson receives